Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to your September 2024 forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's so good to see everybody again. I know it's been a minute. Really happy to be here and feeling much better, so thanks to those that have asked. Let's get straight into your channeled messages. When I was tuning into dreams last night, there were two consistent things and themes that came up. One of them was this feeling of kind of like sleepwalking. I talked a little bit about this in the full moon forecast that I did for members, but in addition to that, there really was something for you, and this is what I got. It was almost like a dream within a dream if you think back to like Inception, and I feel like some of you may be on a path where a lot of what you wanted to do you've done, and now it feels very sort of repetitive or like you're going through the motions. And I was sleeping, but I felt this sense of needing even more rest while I was sleeping, and also kind of like with my eyes half closed, trying to get myself to a coffee shop to get caffeine. So one thing that I would say to all of you that are watching is to just give your body the rest that it needs. Rather than going for that cup of caffeine or whatever it is that you try to do. I mean, I think sleep and then exercise and food, go to the normal things that help the body sort of sustain itself. Caffeine is going to be diminishing returns. I definitely got that loud and clear. Also, we just do get to moments in time where we've done everything we intended to do, and it's okay to want to reach for a little bit more. The other part of this, which was really strange, was it almost felt like I couldn't open my eyes. I was trying to wake up at some point, and I just felt like in addition to sleepwalking, I couldn't see. So it was almost as if I was in the actual card of the Two of Swords or the Eight of Swords, in which case I think it's really important to do what I would advise people to do when we pick up these cards: ask questions. So Two of Swords is sometimes feeling like I don't see everything, I don't get it, I don't understand. So if you don't understand, ask that question, it's okay. In the Eight of Swords, we can sometimes put ourselves into a prison of thought. Our own projection that it can't be fixed or we can't do it actually creates a block. So if there's that mental block, I'd love for you to explore just thinking, I'm ready for change. Help me see the possibilities. Help me see the way out of this situation. So let's review. First message, you're overworked, some of you, or you're bored. It might be a combination of the two. The temptation might be to just use caffeine or whatever to sustain you, but I think the bigger thing here is a wake-up call. Let your body rest, get some perspective. It might be time to move beyond a current situation. And then the other thing was releasing the mental block that something can't work or won't work, asking tough questions both of yourself and of others. And I think this month is all about realignment, kind of like a car, going in there, making sure all the tires are rotated, that the alignment is right. Something might have just pushed your alignment off a little bit, and because you continue to veer in that direction, you're missing something over here. So I think the main focus as we get into the spread here today is going to be on how to get your third eye alignment back on track and how to help you see all the possibilities. Let's get started. All right, Sagittarius, close your eyes if you will. Let go of any pre-existing thoughts and just be open to receive. I'm going to call in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. We're going to set the tone to be helpful, illuminating, supportive, and really to help you walk away from this so that you're fully informed and able to make the best decisions. All right, let's get started. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. It's just great to see you. All right, let's begin with this beautifully illustrated catalyst card. We have Pele coming in with your higher purpose. Pele is such a powerful figure to come through as the catalyst. The catalyst, of course, creates change, action, and movement in your life. She's basically a goddess of both destruction and creation because she's a Hawaiian goddess associated with the fire in volcanoes. Volcanoes, of course, can destroy, but they also created the chain of islands that we know as Hawaii. So I think this is really, really beautiful. And it even reminds me of a clip that I recently heard Dolly Parton talking about where she said, don't confuse dreams and wishes. Dreams basically have the fire that Pele would, and they inspire us to do our best. A wish is just something you hope to happen. But this month, put the fire behind your dreams. Be very intentional, be very passionate, and know that by doing that, you can absolutely create some action, some movement, and some results, folks, okay? You may also just feel a little bit more fire in your belly to do something, to change something. So this is a great month for connecting with your creativity and for putting things into motion. What a great start to the reading. Let's go ahead now and look at the general sort of collection of cards and see what other messages are coming forth. I always like to just see if there's an overarching theme. One of them revolves around you taking care of yourself because by and large, all of these are great cards. There's just one challenging one, and it's where you're at. So for many of you, you're on a rebound, you're on a recovery sort of journey. You don't have to do it alone. We see things moving in the right direction, some real-time manifestation, but the only thing that could take you out of it is health. So definitely pay attention to health and well-being. Let's get started with your center card. We have Three of Wands, it's in reverse, it's still really positive. Let's take a moment to look at your traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, where a person is standing atop a hill and they can see all these ships coming through in the distance. So there are two things that this card requires. Your consistency, you showing up each and every day, doing what you're supposed to, but also the ability to be open to new experiences, new directions, and that is part of what we see in this illustration. She didn't see it here, so she's going over here because there might be another open door. So if you are open to receiving something sooner from a different direction or a different person, in a different packaging, like even when we're thinking of like a relationship, it may not exactly be your type. When we're looking at a job, it may be just a slight repackaging of your skills, but whatever it is, it might be even better than you expected or slightly out of the ordinary. Another word for that is extraordinary, extraordinary. So be open for an extraordinary surprise, something sooner than you expected. Don't be afraid to go the distance. I like an active Three of Wands. She's so much more proactive in this one than this guy who's just waiting. She's walking towards the door to get it open. So all of those messages coming through, and the main takeaway here is that things are happening. A door is about to open. You could get there a little faster and maybe even open it yourself. I love the card that we have that's crossing the Three of Wands. We have the Moon. It's no typical moon card though. In this one, we see the parting of the sea. For many of you, you've found a way to channel your emotions and use them to your benefit. And this is what an artist, an actor will do. It's what also just someone that's really passionate about making change does. They take all that frustration, all that energy, and they're like, let's put it to action. And that is what this is about. That nicely connects to the channeled messages right here that use it to fuel your purpose. It actually also connects here to the health message, riding the cosmic wave, because we see the waves here. So when you are aware of your emotions, when you can channel them and access them, then you're no longer beholden to them. So really work on getting in touch with your emotional and your, I would say your mental health side, so that all of that becomes a firm foundation upon which you can build other things. Something that once was not open to you could also now be open. It could be an opportunity. It could also simply be an awareness. You're like, oh, I think I can do this. I'm going to do this. And you're just willing to walk the walk there. So I love this. Definitely higher sensitivity for you. So the only thing I think is to really be mindful of what others say, because when we look at the way that you're coming through, there could be constructive criticism and all you hear is the critical part. There could also just be a lot of pressure you're putting on yourself. Imagine that things could be easier. Imagine that doors could open. Imagine that the waves could part and you could just do this, because that's what Spirit's showing me, is that it's going to be easier if you allow it to be. But that's the challenge, right? The deep past. Some of you already took a first step towards something amazing here. The Fool typically comes through on beginnings, new starts, a fresh, clean slate. It's in the deep past, so it's showing me that over the past month or two, some of you have already begun this. If you haven't, you're overdue. It's time to embark on a new path in front of you. She's my favorite Fool because she doesn't really put too much bother into it. She's feeling open. She's not in her head too much. She's just very sort of like, take it or leave it. I'm ready for this. Take me or leave me. But she actually is very ready for something to happen. The Fool reminds us to not carry a lot of burdens with us, not too much physical baggage, emotional baggage, and really to be as open-minded as possible. So just in case you haven't been doing any of those, now is the time to really stay open-minded, okay? As we take a look at the recent past, it looks like many of you have discovered your own power and have possibly decided to kind of leapfrog over a gatekeeper. So in the upright position, the Hierophant is a gatekeeper. She's kind of saying, my way or the highway. The keys are there, but she doesn't let the people use them until they have permission. A more sort of modern version of the Hierophant is, you know what, you are both the key and the door, and it's just a matter of when you're ready to open the door for that to happen. You don't need someone's permission. You don't need to kind of go the old tried and true path. It's basically rebellious. So when this card is upside down, there's an encouragement from Spirit to think way outside of that box and to try something new. And not to put forward this idea that it has to be difficult in order to be good, or it has to, again, I think just letting go of preconceptions, just being open and ready is really, really important. If one person says no, look for someone else that will say yes. We have 3 wands. It might take 3 attempts for you to knock on a few doors to get the yes that you need. It's an affirmative card, though. You should be able to get it, okay? And ultimately, some of you have decided to maybe go back to school. The Hierophant is associated with like college and training, more traditional, and it might be something from the past that you're picking up and deciding, let me finish this, or let me finally do this. Discipline was the thing that was lacking before. It feels like you have it now, and as long as we talked about the consistency that when I was looking at the 3 of Wands, keep showing up, and eventually it works out. So as long as you are consistent and really kind of work hard, I do feel like things are moving in the right direction. Crowning card. People are going to call into question your decision-making skills or just why you're doing something. That doesn't mean you're not doing it correctly, and that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. Simply put, it's saying be ready for what your answer is going to be. So if you're like thinking of transferring to a new school or moving to a new country or getting in or out of a relationship, and you know that people are going to say, well, where did this come from? Just have that ready. You can also say, it's what I want to do, so I'm doing it. At a certain point, you don't owe people all of these sort of, deep level sort of replies. It's just simply, this is what I need, this is what I want. Confidence is the key thing here. The other thing is some of you are reclaiming power. You may have been historically very used to kind of working with someone it was like my way or the highway, and you're finally saying, actually, okay, I'm going to get in that car and drive. I also have a vested interest in this, and there should be somewhere where we're meeting in the middle. So I see reclamation of power as being another big part of this month for you, and that's exciting. When you are behind the wheel, though, this is what's important, just like when you're truly driving. You need to know how much to get to the destination. Do you have enough gas or energy if you're using an EV? And where are you going? So prepare and really get ready. Have enough resources and have a direction. And when you have that, also, there'll be less people questioning, and you can just start driving. That's what I get with that. Looking at the near future, know when to fight, know when to just sort of move in your own direction. The 7 of Wands is about fighting the good fight, but not fighting for the sake of fighting. It's also about working smarter. You do not need to please everyone. You do not need to do everything that's on your plate. It is really important for you to prioritize, delegate, and sometimes simply say no. The card that's just before this is 6 of Wands, and the reason that more is coming your way is because you've been successful. That's why you have to be more discerning in the 7 of Wands. The next card is even more movement. It's the 8 of Wands. So this is the only struggle one where it's sort of like learning to really embrace the previous card, the Chariot. You're in charge now. You get to say yes or you get to say no. If somebody asks you something, before getting defensive, ask why they're saying that, like where is this coming from, or help me understand that question, so that you aren't unnecessarily on the defensive. It's a great card if you have to fight for something. It shows me you can get what you seek. But just make sure that you're fighting and working and putting energy into things in an intelligent, measured, and intentional manner. As I said earlier, you've got to take care of yourself. This is the most important thing in the entire reading, because if this doesn't happen, the other stuff is going to be on pause. So 10 of Swords in reverse basically shows that healing has begun, but you're on the sort of like beginning part of that. So rebound energy is what we see with this. Some of you may have just gotten out of a really difficult job or relationship, and you're wondering to yourself, can I do this? How long is it going to take? Why don't I feel better yet? Recovery is a journey that's just one day at a time, and one day you wake up and you are on the other side. But if you focus on how far away you are from that, it just takes longer. So just meet yourself where you're at, one step at a time, and don't rush. Don't push yourself too much either. So for those of you where this represents like a relationship that you got out of, you don't have to date immediately. You don't owe anybody any sort of, status updates of where you're at. Just take care of you. If you have any inflammation, chronic pain, or fatigue, now is the time to deal with it. I'm actually getting inflammation on this card when I look at it. So it can come in weird places. It could be, like swelling around an old injury. There could even be some sort of internal inflammation, or it could even be like a rash. I'm getting more sort of like swelling or irritation on the skin. Just look at multiple things. It could be stress management, diet, and of course, with anything health related, look to the doctors for assistance. But I think a lot of this is stress management. So take care of yourself. Work smarter, not harder, do less, but in doing so, allow yourself to recover and basically put into a new sort of plan what matters most. You owe it to yourself, okay? As we take a look here at the environment, we have a card showing healing and rebounding energy, the Seven of Pentacles. It is in the reverse state, so there is an encouragement here not to rush things. So whether it is your finances or your physical well-being, it might take just a couple weeks or a couple months longer than anticipated, but by and large, this is a very positive card. Slow, steady, and measured recovery. Right before it is the card of balance and discernment, Six of Pentacles. Right after it is a card of learning. So it feels to me like you've learned this cosmic lesson, this karmic lesson, and it's done, but you just wish you could fast forward to the good part. You're almost there, but there is a little bit to be learned with this card. So it really is saying, firmly take care of yourself and make sure that you are having good boundaries. Don't rush to the finish line. Take care and really try to soak in this moment and learn from the experience. I mentioned that I don't believe in failure, just difficult lessons. And so many of you just went through a difficult choice or difficult lesson, and you're doing much better now. But in order to make sure it doesn't repeat, just slow down, take care of yourself, and make a decision. Say, I did that, it didn't work, I'm gonna do this instead. And this is where you may have to come up and say, no, I'm going this way. I'm choosing this path. Because there's a lot of cards of basically walking in a different direction. You can see it here, even in the illustrations, right? So don't be afraid. In fact, I encourage you to walk in a different direction if you feel like that resonates with you. Generally speaking, there is also just a little nudge from the universe not to overspend with respect to the Seven of Pentacles, because sometimes we are just tempted to move faster than we need to. So really be mindful of if you need to do that extra purchase or take that extra trip, or if you can wait a month. Wait for a sale, wait for a discount. There's a better way. That's what I see with that. Hopes, fears, and opportunities looks pretty darn good here. We have the Four of Wands. Some of you could be making a really significant connection here. This could be new love, new partnership. Some of you could be taking partnership to the next level. In business, this shows a really good alliance, a really good customer relationship. All in all, it's good stuff. Often the Four of Wands is empty because this is in the possibility space. We do see the promise of someone there, but if you've set the stage and no one showed up yet, that's okay. You just might be a little bit early. The show hasn't started yet. So allow for the ability for the right person, the right opportunity to show up, okay? That's what I get with this. But there could be new love or friendship on its way. And we get a little hint of what it might look like. We have fire coming through here, the Son of Wands, which is the Knight of Wands. This is someone who knows who they are, knows what they want, and isn't afraid to ask for it. So you're meeting someone who's really kind of fiery and bold, and I like that. Don't be afraid. If that's what you want, you've got it. As an aspect of your own personality, it's saying be bold. Paint with a broad stroke and say, you know what? Again, unapologetically, this is what I stand for, this is what I'm interested in, and kind of like embrace your inner Pele. Allow your purpose and your passion to be seen and to feel like something that other people really want to get behind, okay? Let's expand this to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, starting off with your health, which is mind, body, and spirit. And this, sorry about that, this is the most important piece because of the Ten of Swords. So your health card, I already hinted at it, was riding the cosmic wave. So for those of you that watch me from month to month, you know that I look at the tower as a surfer or as a wave energy. And here we see you being able to get through one of those tower moments. And Ten of Swords and Tower are very, very close. So what happens usually is we've stayed too long in a certain way of living or being a relationship. We've had a habit in our life that no longer serves us. The universe comes in and it creates a tower or a Ten of Swords so that we have to change. Some of you have already made the change. You've already been through it. Some of you may be in the throes. Some of you, it might be down the road. But here's the cool thing. Because of the way that the moon was illustrated, I feel very, very confident that you can get through this. And also because of the catalyst itself, riding the cosmic wave. It's simply saying, acknowledge that it's better to let something go or make a necessary change. And when you embrace the change, you become an agent of it. And then you become powerful or empowered. And that's what I see here. Okay, let's break it down. Let's look at all that is here. I mentioned inflammation. It's interesting because we had the fire energy. It totally makes sense. So really focus on diet and, of course, work with a doctor if any of that's coming through for you. The moon can represent both hydration. For some of you, it could also be something going on in the bladder or the reproductive tract as well, including menstrual cycles. So if anything's out of balance there, you'll want to work with the appropriate doctor, okay? Positive outcome coming out of this, but just needing to address something if it's there. Could be an unexpected pregnancy for some of you, so also be aware of that. I think that the other thing here is putting too much pressure and starting something too feverishly. So the Fool is doing something new. The Ten of Swords is going from like 0 to 80 miles per hour, way too fast. If you just started exercising or changed the way you're eating or doing anything, too much, too fast, it's like a crash and burn effect. So that's one thing. These cards are right next to each other and it's just going to an extreme. Less, measured, patient. Go that route instead. Other than that, it looks pretty good, actually. I see a slow and steady recovery. I think one of the other things could be lifting too many weights or pushing your body too far. This can also create like a stretched muscle, sprained ankle, something of that nature. It's avoidable and it's not too major from what I'm seeing if it's kind of like related to that. Chronic pain and fatigue, obviously something you want to deal with. I still like that we have very positive cards attached to these. So 3 of Wands, 7 of Pentacles, just slow and steady recovery, but recovery nonetheless. Okay. Overall, pretty manageable. Let's move on from health into wealth, looking at resources, life purpose, and your career. And let's look and see what this card has. There's no place like home. Nestle into the sweetness. Some of you may be finally feeling like you're a part of something bigger. You also may be using some of your resources to buy a home, and congratulations if you're there. For the rest of you, because this card was reversed, you could feel like if you've ever watched The Wizard of Oz, you're like Dorothy trying to find her way back. She's kind of like lost a little bit. So we're looking at wealth, and if you don't feel like you fit in, or if you feel like the culture is a mismatch, or you're not comfortable in your skin, therefore you're not at home, that is all you really need to know, that it might be time to move in a different direction. And also just to fight for inclusiveness. But I think there's only so much sometimes that we can change a culture or a morale, and look at that and think, is it worth it? I say that because of the Ten of Swords. I don't think this is the time to take on, like a gigantic giant. It might be better just to move in another direction in this situation. But let's break it down before we get too specific. We're going to look at 3 scenarios: those that are working, looking for a job, and then I'll look at students and retirees. If you're currently working, please don't overwork. It's the first thing that I see. This can be burnout. This can be too much pressure. The reason I think you might be putting it on yourself is there's a lot of positivity around this spread. Your passion is coming through loud and clear. It seems like you're connecting well with colleagues. You're successful, so there's more being put on your plate. The only challenges that I'm seeing could be with management. Some of you just don't want to be bossed around. You want to be the boss. So for those of you that are thinking of being entrepreneurial, starting your own business, absolutely, I can see the boss energy coming forth. And I see the head clashing here. So bide your time if you need to. It feels like there's a little bit more financial stability that needs to happen before you break out on your own. But for everybody that really is still in a job and wants to stay in it, pick and choose the battles. There are some things that you just have to do because it's expected. There might be one thing you choose to go and basically fight for a little bit, and you have a chance of winning that. Avoid taking the bait or saying something that you're going to regret later. Really be mindful of communication, okay? There's power in numbers, so you don't need to hold or bear this cross alone. You can work with others in order to make sure that they're sort of like the distribution of pressure and criticism is spread among others. 4 of Wands shows 2 people, but it can be multiple people. So tap out, or I should say tap on the shoulders of the friends and colleagues that you trust the most, and then have the conversation, and together you can avoid the 10 of Swords. I think that you have a great chance of bringing an idea to the finish line. Partnering up with someone or working with an ally is going to be far more effective. I think there's an arbitrary gatekeeper or someone really traditional, old-fashioned, that just doesn't get it. So find someone else. There may be another way. Find another way, okay? Your passion and creativity, though, are the strongest sort of energies here in this entire spread, and they can move mountains or, in this case, part the sea. All right, pretty good month overall. Just avoid arguments, burning out, and know when you just have to kind of follow the rules. Pick and choose those battles. All right, for everybody else, here's what I see. If you are looking for a job right now, can you find one? Yes, but it's really competitive. The 7 of Wands shows that you have to fight to be seen or heard for at least one of these opportunities. General finances look okay, so like when you are, or I should say compensation looks okay. Here's what I don't like about the first thing that I'm picking up on here with a new opportunity. Could be burnout. There could be an expectation to work nights and weekends or be on call. There are some jobs where that's expected, like medicine, but there are other jobs where it's just sort of like, sometimes I wonder if people are working efficiently or if they're just enjoying power trips and things like that. So I don't think that the 7 of Pentacles is enough to compensate for the 10 of Swords. We need the Wheel of Fortune to make that okay. And honestly, nothing makes the 10 of Swords okay. So if there is too much of a trade-off between your freedom and your free time, go another way. I think there's at least 2 or 3 options in front of you. Another option seems very traditional, very corporate, and I see a butting of the heads there. And there is one where it just feels very, very good. So keep waiting for that Goldilocks option. Avoid the burnout one, and maybe avoid the one that's super corporate or super traditional. This could be like a school, it could be government, it could be corporation, it could just be a closed-minded, small sort of like mom and pop shop where they don't want to be flexible, and that may not be good for you. But if you like structure, that one may work. I feel like there's one where it's a smaller group, a smaller company, a smaller collection of people. This is the Goldilocks option that I see. It could take beyond a month. A lunar cycle sometimes goes a little bit over, so maybe by the next full moon, we just got through one here. Many of you are watching it on that, but give it one full moon cycle, and that's when this may come to fruition. Okay. All right, for those of you that are students, burnout also, I mean, this is going to be true of everybody that is working or working hard. Take care of yourself. There could also be a health hiccup that's going on. Generally speaking, your hard work will pay off. People are very impressed with your general personality and skills. Be mindful of your spending. Also look and see if there's a way to get some more financial assistance. Seven of Pentacles is just a little close to the edge. So I would love for some more assistance, and just be smart about purchases when it comes to like technology or books or even like dormitory. Just make sure that there's somewhere where you can save a little bit there for the long run, because these bills do haunt us years later. So I want you to be smart about how much financial aid you take out, etc. Otherwise, there may just be a struggle between your path and your parents' path. And of course, this is something where you have to really fight and advocate. This is a fight worth fighting if you want to do something different, okay? Retirees, many of you may have just had a wake-up call where something went on and you're like, okay, I really want to put the emphasis on relationships right now. Maybe some of you want to do some light travel, because that can be the Three of Wands. Dealing with both your emotional and physical health are the most important pieces here. And then I see like a passion project, or this can be a hobby, a project, or something new that you want to do just for you. And that's what's coming through here. Really stepping back, some of you driving, and it feels like there may have been either like, I don't know why I'm picking up on this. There could have been a car accident, or there could have been, or maybe it's just getting difficult to see while you're driving. In that case, get your eyes checked. It might be, you know what I was seeing in dreams? This is so bizarre. It's coming out now, but glaucoma. So if it runs in the family, it's a very bizarre thing, but I was looking in the eyes and it just came through now, but it was milky. And that was part of the reason that I couldn't see. So there could be something where it could be just inflammation. Like there could be, an eye infection. It could be glaucoma. This is for a very, very small subsection of you, but I'm getting a health message in wealth, but it's because it's retirees. So traditionally older section here. So definitely get that checked out. Whenever it comes through, I just share the message. So there you go. I think that's everything. We covered it all here. And one last time, there's no place like home. Really making more time to enjoy your living situation, making sure that you feel at home wherever you're at, whether it's a place of work or even a relationship. You need to feel that sense of being in good company and in a good space. All right, let's move on to the next category here. We're going to take a look at love and relationships. We have the frog. Frogs are great totems because they have the ability to leapfrog, to move forward. They can also thrive in situations that others can't. And when we're looking at this is what I was talking about, where someone comes through and they're not the typical type, but there's something about them that kind of ignites the passion. Okay, it's the frog that becomes the prince. And in this case, the prince is the Knight of Wands here. So you could be pulling in some sort of a partnership or energy and it could be platonic, by the way. There could just be this sort of, wow, I really want to connect with you energy as friendship or partnership. But yeah, it's sort of like a prince or a knight in disguise. And the more you get to know this person, the less they seem like a frog and the more they seem like a prince. But as a totem, frogs are pretty amazing because they represent transformation. They have multiple states, from being the egg to the tadpole to the frog that we see there. So you might be going through a few different stages of growth, and it depends where you're at. This is how you're going to connect with other people. I feel like you need to get through the current stage before you're ready for that relationship or that partnership to happen. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's break it down now. We're going to look at those in a relationship, looking for love, or happily single. If you're in a relationship, communication could be the most challenging thing. Some of you just got in an argument. Some of you may just be feeling agitated. There could also be things going on in your life that are constituting this. It could be stress at work, stress at school, stress in the relationship, or your own health stuff. And it just feels like it's a lot. Because when that's going on and you probably already have this sort of fiery side, the words that come out may not always be elevated. This is true of the partner too. So it cuts both ways. One or both of you are in that sort of elevated state. We want to walk the middle if we can and try to find a place between the extremes like we see in this moon card. Honesty is so important. The moon is a little bit tricky. So there could be someone not completely telling the truth, or not sort of like, or just maybe, keeping something to themselves, and it comes out this month. And it's important to really see where this is coming from and weigh it out and decide, like, is this a deal breaker? Sometimes it's just because there's a fear of rejection. So I would even ask if someone else in your life isn't being completely honest. Just say, where did this come from, and why are we just talking about it now? It's even hard to articulate. It feels like the words are going to be difficult to kind of like come out of your mouth. But if you approach it from a place of level-headedness, understanding, and just holding some space, I think you can get to the bottom of it. The rest of the cards are okay. So a potential argument, a potential secret, and maybe these two are connected. What I love about all of this, though, is there's a chance to harmoniously get through that, and it feels like see things eye to eye. One of the challenges here is the way that both of you kind of like things a certain way. These are very, very powerful cards and very sort of like my way or the highway cards. So compromise, the fine art of compromise, is going to be challenged this month. And getting back to a playful state. The Fool is playful and really isn't kind of holding a grudge or holding all this stuff. So if there's anything that you can do that's in that playful energy, that would be really helpful. Overall, it's an okay spread, but communication and emotions are kind of high, and communication needs to be very, very clear this month. That's the only thing that could take it off course, okay? Now, if we take a look at those that are looking for love, what I just said comes through. There may be someone that's already around you or that you met, and initially there was maybe a little bit of, I don't know why I'm interested in this person, but I'm interested. Trust your intuition. You can't fake it. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. But more interestingly, if you feel something, but you look at them and you're like, why am I feeling this? Who knows? But Spirit's saying there could be something like a diamond in the rough. It's kind of what the frog also represents. So get past the exterior and see if there is something worth getting to know. And again, it could be in friendship, it could be in love. There's something unexpected. That's what I get with this. All right. Other things that I see for those that are seeking love: say yes to invitations, especially to weddings and celebrations. The Four of Wands is a wedding, but it can also be someone's retirement party, or just a celebration that they're holding. You could meet someone there. It could be very easy to connect with them. Don't force yourself out there. If you don't want to be on an app, if you don't want to go to a party, don't. But when you open yourself up to different ways of meeting, I feel like you're going to be surprised at how quickly things manifest this month. Please don't be so harsh on yourself. Other people don't tend to look at you with the same level of scrutiny that you look at yourself. That's what I get with this. There also could be a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces coming in, as well as this sort of fire sign. I think here the main thing that I see is to have fun with it and not take it so seriously. The more you can just sort of be open, the quicker it can come in. If you try to control it too much, these are all control cards, it takes longer. So just show up. Show up at events and parties, and I feel like these there are two different people that are kind of presenting here. They could come through. I still feel like there could be some stubbornness with whoever it is that you're bringing through. So be that as it may, that's the kind of energy that's presenting itself. Okay, for those that are happily single, you have a chance this month to really create some substantial movement on something that you care about a lot. When the seas are parting, I just see opportunity knocking. I think that also there is a chance for whatever it is that you're trying to do, especially if it's a creative or a professional sort of goal, for it to go the distance. And I think that you're still going to make some great partnerships and friendships if you're open to. Okay? And that's everything for relationships. Let's look at the Destiny card. Well, hello. I've been talking about communication in relationships. So the important thing this month is to really spend time crafting, tuning in, and thinking about elevating your communication. And sticking to the facts, because the eagle here is really trying to get a bird's eye view on it, no pun intended, and just see it from all angles. So there was a George Michael album called Listen Without Prejudice, but what a great title. Listen without any preconceived notions. Then ask a question, then formulate your opinion. It's hard to listen without prejudice. And it's hard to have others listen without also being prejudiced or having some sort of a, kind of like projected feeling of what you're about to say. So slow it down, really ask questions too, and say, do you understand? Is this clear? And try to break down some of those potential, areas where people aren't listening. let's go deeper into sun, rising, and moon sign messages and see what's in store for you. Sun, rising, and moon. All right, we got a few reversals here. It's okay. Reversals are not necessarily bad, folks. The Six of Cups in reverse. So some of you are choosing this month to go back to an old relationship, an old alliance, someone or something from the past, and reconnect. And it's favorable. This could even be someone with whom you don't even remember why you weren't talking. Maybe you got busy, maybe there was a disagreement because we had the Ten of Swords, but so much time is under the bridge that you feel like, you know what? I think it's time for us to make peace. So I actually see a peaceful resolution and an end of an estrangement if you're open. There could also be karmic past life energy that's coming through in the form of a partnership. Six of Cups is an elevated karmic relationship, so just someone that feels really good to be around. It could be a bestie, like a best friend. It could also be someone that you really, really want to reignite the flame with. So in the realm of passion or friendship or love, Six of Cups is about as good as it gets. And if you're trying to have a baby, if I did see a pregnancy, this is usually twinning energy, so there could be fraternal twins coming through as well. As we take a look here at the rising sign, we have the Knight of Swords coming through. Things are starting to move quickly. When the card comes through reverse, it's reminding you of the importance of pumping the brakes a little bit, slowing down long enough to make sure that you're reading the signs on the road, figuratively speaking. So you're appreciating every moment, that you're hearing what needs to be heard, that you're seeing opportunities. Don't rush, that's the main thing. But also just simply put that there may be a lot going on, so do your best to keep up, but sometimes you are gonna need to ask for help. Sometimes you are going to need to delegate or say no. And sometimes you have to simply take a day off or say, I've got to take care of myself because we don't want this to happen. So saying no, delegating, slowing down when possible, and doing the best that you can. Sometimes people need to see that, expectations are unrealistic. And so the Knight of Swords in reverse will also speak up and say, hold on a second, I think there might be a better way. How about this? And that's going to help save your time, your energy, and your health in the process, okay? Let's move on now to the moon sign messages here. We have the World in reverse. Very fast changes. For some of you, you might have even put something to bed and you thought it's not happening, and then all of a sudden, knock, 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 here it is. Opportunity saying, not only is it happening, but it's happening now. So rapid changes, possibly a change in location, new home, new sort of surroundings. The World card is auspicious. It can represent very good things in business, like publication, distribution, good attention, good word of mouth, and it's really saying go bigger. Things could go bigger than you imagine, but you may sort of have this limited perspective. So the Eight of Swords that I saw earlier is about imagining beyond your dreams. Like, what if it's all of this and then some? And that's what I'm getting with that. Now we have a chance for you to ask one final question. Anything that I have not yet answered, but you still need some guidance on. Go ahead and put that out there, and let's see what Spirit has to say. Hanged Man. Again, a lot of reversals this month. That's all right. This card is actually good in the reverse because it's saying just take a moment. It's all right. You're exactly where you need to be. Hanged Man upright is like that too, but the Hanged Man reverse is saying, don't rush, and even if you're not getting what you need in this very moment, it's probably so that you can see it from a different perspective. In this pause, in this momentary reset, you're being allowed a chance to see something that you wouldn't normally see, to see where that opening might be, to change and look in another direction where the door is actually open. All of these things are presented here with the Hanged Man. One final message, take care of your feet. The Hanged Man can represent an ankle sprain, Achilles tendon issue, poor support in your shoes, a lot of the same things that we would see with Five of Pentacles, but usually it's more right there in that ankle space, or maybe even one of the metatarsals. So if you're having an issue, obviously work with a podiatrist, but don't stress or strain your feet any more than you need to. that's one last thing with that particular card. All right, that's everything for this month. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here to channel everything. Do me a favor, if you did enjoy this video, a simple like or subscribe, it helps more than you would imagine. It helps with others discovering this. It also lets me know that you enjoyed this video, so thank you in advance. You can also give me a follow on social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh. And if you ever need any information on where to find me, you can go to my website. Just a quick reminder, I don't offer private readings, nor do I use chat or comments to solicit business. So if you ever see that, be smart, block report, let me know about it. If you want to show some love and support, you can become a channel member. It's a great way to kind of like set it and forget it. Plus, I also do some specific readings just for that. I just did a full moon reading in August for all the members. So thank you for everybody that gives back in that way. It makes a big difference. Thank you for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Wishing you all the best. Take care.